Hello photographers, this is Jason Johnson with Love and Media. This is a video recap of Stunning Silhouettes. It's workshop number 2 of 12, part of the free workshop series I provide to my Facebook group called Flash Fanatics. If you are interested in learning off-camera flash techniques, please think about joining that Facebook group. It's completely free and we provide free workshops every month. You can attend live or watch the recaps, post your questions, post your photos, get answers. It's all about learning, all about fun. We'd love to have you in there. All right, this is Stunning Silhouettes, workshop number 2. Let's go. Okay guys, gear used. Don't need a bunch of stuff, but you do need some stuff. For starters, you do need an off-camera flash that is powered by some type of trigger that communicates to it effectively. We also will be using a Magmod sphere. We're using a Magmod grid, Magmod color gel. Any company works, it's just what I use. We also use aerosol fog, so it's like fog in a can. Pretty cool for some of these silhouette shots we're doing. And the last thing you need is a light stand. Smaller the better in this case. Let's get started. Okay, next thing up is your pre-shot checklist. I'm not gonna go over this in detail. Please screenshot this, take a photo, download it. There is a video in the link below that goes over this screen just by itself in detail if you have any questions, okay? Okay, now that you've got your checklist, you're ready to rock, we're gonna do step 4 in the pre-shot checklist is to set the mood with our aperture, right? For a silhouette, we want the ambient to be dark. So your test shot should look like this. Black. All right guys, now that we have our settings dialed in, I'm gonna go over 10 different ways to create a stunning silhouette. I'm gonna go over the position of the flash, the direction of the flash, and any other modifiers that I'm using. For the first 9 techniques I'm gonna teach you, we're not going to touch any of the settings on the camera, okay? We're only gonna adjust the flash power. Let's get started. All right guys, for the first lighting setup we're gonna use the sphere with the light on the light stand facing the wall. We're gonna place our subject directly in front of that light to block it. And if it's just a single subject, we like to have them placed sideways so we get that side profile. If it's a couple, we also want them side, but we want them blocking the light as well. And this is what it looks like with just the sphere facing the wall. Now we take the sphere off, get a little brighter hot spot, a little bit less of a spread of that light. This is what it looks like by just removing the sphere, just a bare bulb, and a color gel. For lighting setup number 3, we're gonna take the light off the stand, we're gonna put it on the ground facing up. In this case, it's gonna be with the sphere and the color gel just as before, okay? You can see you have a nice spread. There's really no hot spot. If you wanna make the wall color, this is a great way to do that. This is lighting setup number 4. Same idea, lights on the ground. We have a color gel pointing up toward the wall. We're gonna take the sphere off. We're just gonna use a bare bulb. What does that do? Gives us a little brighter hot spot in the back. We also have some little light spillage on the bottom. Kind of like it. You can also remove it in post. Okay guys, this is lighting setup number 5. We're gonna take this light, have a sphere on it, we're gonna point it toward the subject, in between the camera and the subject. This is gonna be right around their head, just like this, to create a nice outline around their head. This image is used with a sphere. You can see the spillage on the back wall, also making it color. Some of you like that, some of you may not. For lighting setup number 6, this is what we get if we take the sphere off. Same setup. Color gel pointed directly to the subject, right around the head. We can see the difference of the photo. It's a blacker wall, there's less spillage. We see just the outline around the light. This is the way I like to do a backlit shot. For lighting setup number 8, we're gonna do that same setup where the light is facing the model in between you and the camera. We're gonna add the sphere and we're gonna add fog right in front of that flash. This is what it looks like. Pretty cool, huh? For lighting setup number 8, same thing. We're gonna take the sphere off, right? Just using a bare bulb, fog, and the color gel. If we put that right in front of the model, spray that, this is what we get. You can see the difference. There's no spillage on the background. It's a nice black background. We just see the color where you're at. This is how I like to do it with fog. For the 9th lighting setup, we're actually gonna have the light way off to the side here. We're gonna have the model setting right here, stand way off the camera, and with the model positioned correctly, we'll get an image like this, where we have just a shadow on the wall. This is with a bare bulb and a colored gel. Okay guys, for lighting setup number 10, it is a little trickier than the last 9 we went over. We will have to do a couple of things differently, but this is how we do it. So we go back to the off-camera setup guide, turn it to manual. We want to take that ambient shot to be black just like before, but instead of having a fast shutter speed, we want a very long one, around 3 or 4 seconds. And because of a 3 or 4 second exposure, we most likely have to turn the lights off in the room that we're in, because we do not want any ambient light. We still want the ambient photo to be dark. Some things to think about when you do that: when you turn your light off, camera has a hard time focusing. So what we want to do is make sure we grab focus before we turn the light off, turn the camera to manual focus, and we want to make sure that model stays very still, okay? Once we get focus, model knows to stay still, we can now take that 4-second exposure. We're gonna light the subject up from the back with our light wand. This is a type of motion I did. 1, 2, 3, done. And this is the type of photo you get from doing something like that. Pretty cool, pretty unique. You guys have just learned 10 cool techniques to create stunning silhouettes. Do you want more? Okay, I got a couple more for you, all right? So now we're gonna combine techniques. This is technique 9 and technique 8. And this is technique 9 and technique 1. Same techniques we've learned, same settings. We're just combining 2 in the same shot. Pretty cool, huh? All right guys, pro tip here. When you're doing silhouettes, light spillage is an issue. You saw it in the bare light shot up, you saw the kind of V's around it. I'm gonna show you another example right here where we combine the two. I had the bare light on this shot, and you can see the subject on the right is also red, which we don't want. We just want the shadow on the left to be red, and then we want the person on the right to have that nice blue outline that we had earlier. So what do? We put a grid on it. Once you put a grid on it, now you only see it when it's directly here. Once it's here, you don't see anything, right? So it only will have the light coming in this direction, and that makes it not hit the subject. So now if you see the difference with using a grid, you could also use a snoot or a flag, something to kind of block that light. We get a nice clean image, just like that. Other things you can do, because there's a little gap here between, let's say, your gel, right? There's light that is going to come out of here. Okay, so in some scenarios, you can place a shirt, a phone, anything to block the light right over this gap right here. Okay, when you do that, you will have less spillage. You will likely create a better silhouette as well. Okay, guys, so the last technique I want to show you, which is actually a little intro into the next video we're going to do about portraits, is after we get this crazy cool silhouette, we have fog, backlit, we turn the subject, add one more light, boom, we have a stunning portrait now. Check it out. Well guys, that's it. Thanks for joining us with our video recap of stunning silhouettes. Please join us next time. I'd love to see you live. If I can't, I'll see you virtually. And until then, peace out.